speak to Muhannad Ayyash. He's a professor of sociology at Mount Royal University. Really good to have you with us, Professor. Firstly, this assassination of Haniyeh in Tehran is seen as a sharp escalation in hostilities between Israel and Iran and also Hamas. Explain to us, what ramifications will Haniyeh's killing have on the ongoing war in Gaza and the broader region as well?
Thank you very much for having me. First of all, this shows in very clear ways that the Israeli state is not interested in any of the mediation processes that have been led by the Qatari government, by the Egyptians, even by the Americans. When you assassinate, as the Qatari Prime Minister said very clearly today, when you assassinate the main negotiator, how do you take that seriously or how do you take your intent to negotiate seriously? You don't. Clearly, the Israeli state is determined to continue its genocidal operation in the Gaza Strip. They are not interested in a ceasefire. And when you assassinate the leader of Hamas, that was the main negotiator, you are sending that signal not just to Hamas and the Palestinian people, you are sending that signal to everyone, everywhere around the world. So I think the main ramification here is going to be that the ongoing genocidal operation will continue, unfortunately. I do believe that Iran, along with Hezbollah and probably the Houthis as well, will respond. I don't know what the nature of the response will be, but I suspect that it will be something substantial. Whether that then raises and escalates the situation into a wider regional war remains to be seen. But it is clear to me that the Israelis want that war. We've been saying for a long time, nobody wants a wider regional war. I think that statement still holds, but I think we need to add to the end of that statement. No one wants a wider regional war except for Israel. They do want that war. Otherwise, you don't do something like this. When you do something like this, you understand the consequences. The Israelis are not that stupid. They know that this action was going to invite a hostile and strong reaction from Iran. We shall see what happens and what transpires over the coming days and weeks. But I fear that the prospects of a wider regional war are bigger today than they were yesterday.
When two Iranian generals were killed in an Israeli attack on the Iranian embassy in Damascus in April, we saw Tehran respond with a drone attack on Israel a couple of weeks after that incident. Are you expecting something similar might happen in the wake of this assassination on Iranian soil?
Like I said, it's very hard to predict these things. Only the Iranians know the answer to that question. But it would not surprise me if not only they do that again, but they do something even stronger than that. It would not surprise me. I'm not saying that will happen. It just would not surprise me at this stage. And as many commentators are saying, the Israeli state is sort of hoping for something like that in order to drag the Americans into the war and take on Iran. Look, this is not a secret in international relations and in diplomatic discourse that the Israeli government, especially those led by Netanyahu, have been wanting an American war on Iran for quite some time, at least 2 decades. And the reason that they want the Americans to do that, to carry out that war, is because they are not sure that they themselves can, of course, take out Iran all by themselves or severely degrade its military capabilities and so on. So they need someone as strong as the U.S. to come into the region and basically conduct a regime change in Iran, much like they wanted the Americans to do that in Iraq back in 2003. So I do believe that is the wish of the Israeli government at this point. Whether that happens or not, like I said, remains to be seen. I do still believe that Iran does not want that regional war. I do believe that Hezbollah does not want it. I do believe that Hamas does not want it. I do believe that the actors in the regions like Qatar and Egypt and in Saudi Arabia don't want it. I don't believe the Americans want it. But Israel wants it, and they are trying to do all of these escalatory actions in order to see it realized. In addition to the assassination, we cannot forget that the genocide is ongoing, and the uninhibited killing of Palestinians is ongoing nonstop for 10 months. We're up to nearly 40,000 Palestinians killed. 40,000. The actual number will likely be higher than that. Over 91,000 Palestinians have been injured. Again, 91,000, many of those, thousands of those are severe lifetime injuries. We're talking about children that have both legs amputated, type of injuries. Those kinds of actions have been, the Israeli state have been carrying out escalatory actions nonstop since October, trying to begin this wider regional war. And I'm afraid they might get their wish. But once they do get their wish, they might not wish they had not had that wish in the first place.
Okay, Muhannad Ayyash, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much, as always, for joining us on the program.